All right, I'm here today with Joe. Joe has been a member of our Total Life Fitness Academy program for a few months, and today he's going to share a little bit about his journey. So, Joe, tell us a little bit about who you are, maybe where you're from, and what you were struggling with prior to joining our group.
Yeah, absolutely. So my name is Joe Pulvermacher. I am a firefighter, actually the fire chief in the city of Fitchburg. I got involved in this program based on, I guess, an appropriately placed text from Luke and some dialogue back and forth to address a number of different things, some of which included what my priorities were for health and for working out, getting on top of things within my life, and through that conversation, we were able to identify ways that Luke and his program could help me out. So I think one of the things that I've been a lifelong struggler with is body weight, and it's never been to the point where I've been what I would consider to be immensely overweight, but uncomfortably overweight, and so as my role in the fire service transitioned from an operational background to an administrative background, it was difficult to see some of those things that I had sort of grown accustomed to in the way of working out and physical fitness sort of go by the wayside as I was doing more things behind the desk. And I know from my family's perspective, my dad was a lifelong struggler with weight as well, to the point where in his later years, he had a tough time getting around. Although it never defined him, it was one of those things where you could see that at times he was uncomfortable. So I was trying to figure out what my priorities were going to be. I needed to figure out what I needed to do for myself, for my health, and this just seemed to be the appropriate first step.
Yeah, appreciate you sharing that and sharing your background, Joe. So so obviously we connected, and upon joining our program, I guess, were there any hesitations you had around joining, and then I guess why did you ultimately decide to join our program?
So the hesitancy has a lot to do with time management and investment. I, like a number of other different people, have a lot in their calendars and don't necessarily have enough discretionary income to just do whatever you want. So from a time and an investment standpoint, I did have to make up my mind as far as whether this was important to me or not. So what I figured I would do is I would give it at least a shot, the first round, see if it did anything and see if it was worth the time and worth the investment. And when I started seeing results right away, seriously, within the first month, I probably dropped my first 10 pounds. That was concerning to me at first because I didn't want to lose weight too quickly. I've seen people lose weight quickly and then put it right back on, and sometimes more so. So for me, it was a matter of defining the lifestyle and trying to make sure that what I was doing was done with a lot of thought and done in a way that was sustainable. So although I would like to say that I like to work out, it's not my favorite activity, but I do like the results and I do like the feeling afterwards. And I also know that I only have so many hours in the week. So if it was the type of program where I had to work out multiple hours every day, it probably wasn't going to work for me. So what I quickly learned through this program is that, obviously results are going to be seen based on what you put into it. But I could put in enough to the point where it was still sustainable. I wasn't necessarily overtaxing my time. Sometimes I had to find creative ways to get my workouts in, but it was never the type of workout where I felt like I had to plan my day around it. In many respects, I was putting it into holes that existed in my schedule. So from that aspect, this proved to be beneficial because of the fact that that I was able to start seeing results. That became a motivator, and then the way that it has a tendency of working is as you start becoming healthier, uh, you start maybe seeing the value in putting in a little bit extra effort because it feels right. And so I'm fortunate in the sense that I was able to do what I did when I did it, and it got the results that I was looking for. And Luke knows this more than a lot of other people. When he asked what my priorities were, was never about the weight. It was really about looking better and feeling better, and not necessarily in that order. So I wanted to feel better about myself and my health. I can tell you that from a cholesterol standpoint, it has actually benefited my health. Cholesterol levels have gone down to the point where we have actually started to look at ways to address the mitigation of cholesterol independent of medication. So those are some things that I came away with that were I was hoping for, but didn't necessarily expect.
Awesome. Well, I really appreciate you sharing that, Joe. I'm sure a lot of people can relate with what we're talking about. So yeah, I mean, kind of right along those lines. So, like you said, I know it's not about all about like the weight and inches and things like that as well, but yeah, kind of share like what have been some of your biggest wins so far specifically, and what have been kind of the biggest benefits that you've gotten so far.
So some of the biggest wins is um, the fact that I feel more energetic when it comes to my workouts. I have actually it's become more or less something to do with my time versus trying to find a way to avoid it. So the physical activity has actually been a welcome distraction to the rest of my life. And I say that because of the fact that I have a tendency of focusing on work. And when I go to the gym, I can sort of put that out of my head at least for an hour, and that's been helpful indirectly. The other thing that I think that I wasn't expecting to the level that it happened is the fact that my waist size has gone down significantly. I mean, I just went shopping this last weekend for shorts and started out in the normal area where I shop, and that was size 35, 36. And everything there was baggy. And I finally got the right fit at 32. So from that perspective, it's something worth celebrating, and at the same time, something that's very humbling, because I know that without the right approach and without making this a sustainable practice, that could go right back to where it was. So I do appreciate the ongoing support and accountability that happens through a program like this.
Awesome. Yeah, that's so amazing to hear some of those benefits that you've gained so far, Joe. And now that some people might be listening to this and they're thinking, wow, these sound really good. Is this program for me? What would you say to someone who's maybe on the fence about joining or thinking about joining our program?
One of the main things that I would say to anybody looking to get something out of a physical fitness program is make sure that it is something that works for you. You don't have to be a gym rat in order for this to work. And quite frankly, it doesn't have to define you either. You're so much more than a program. So from that perspective, I was happy to be able to contribute to my health and wellness at in a way that fit in with my life and my lifestyle. Like I said, I wasn't trying to work things around a program as much as trying to fit a program into the things that I already do, and that was helpful. The other thing that has been helpful is the fact that this is not the type of program that deprives you of something that you usually like. I mean, what it is, it's a matter of moderation. Eat the things that you like in moderation, and know what you're able to do from a day in, day out basis. You don't have to get rid of things that you enjoy in order to show improvement. And that's one of the things that I think Luke and I have talked about, is the fact that I probably started this program out at the worst possible time over Thanksgiving and the holidays. But I never stopped eating those things that I was used to in those situations. I might have controlled the amount that I put on my plate, but I was eating the same things that my aunts put in front of me during Thanksgiving, and was happy to still participate with the program and with the family camaraderie. Because I'm sure many of us can attest to the fact that right around the time that you go to your relative's house, you're participating in all the things that you've done throughout a lifetime. And I was still able to do all of that. And I apologize for the distraction in back of me. My dog wants to be a part of this testimonial as well, so she's encouraging me to put her into the shot, but now she's
like. Well, yeah, I really appreciate it. Joe, obviously so happy to hear you've made changes, and yeah, obviously are continuing as well. So thanks for sharing and appreciate your time today.
Yeah, and thank you. If what I would also recommend to anybody who's thinking about a program like this is do your homework. Talk to the people about what makes sense to you. Get involved with something that has the best possible chance of being sustainable within your lifestyle, and don't expect results that are unattainable. There's a time frame for all of this stuff, and you'll find that if you follow the time frame, you'll see the results, and you will appreciate the fact that it's something that you can do over the long term.
Absolutely appreciate it.